For thousands of years, humanity has asked one timeless question: where did we come from? Religious traditions tell us the story of Adam and Eve, the first man and woman, created by divine hands in a paradise lost to temptation. But science paints a different picture, one written in bones, fossils, and DNA, tracing our journey from ancient primates to modern humans across millions of years. So, who's right, the sacred scriptures or the scientific evidence? Is the story of Adam and Eve a literal account of our beginnings, or a profound symbol of humanity's awakening? In this exploration, we'll uncover how faith and science approach the same mystery from two worlds, and why the truth about human origins might lie not in conflict, but in connection between them. 1. The foundational question: the debate over Adam and Eve versus human ancestry stands at the intersection of faith, science, and philosophy. It asks whether humanity originated from a single divine creation event, as described in religious texts, or through a long process of evolutionary development supported by fossil records and genetic evidence. The religious narrative: Adam and Eve in the Abrahamic religions, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, human origin begins with a first couple created by God. Genesis account, Bible: God forms Adam from dust and Eve from Adam's rib, placing them in the Garden of Eden. They are the first humans, from whom all others descend. Quranic narrative: Islam, Adam, and his wife, Hawa, are created by Allah as the first human beings, endowed with free will and moral consciousness. The story is theological, emphasizing the moral and spiritual nature of humanity, sin, free will, and divine relationship, rather than biological mechanisms. Thus, Adam and Eve symbolize more than physical origins. They represent the birth of moral awareness, human self-consciousness, and the covenant between God and humankind. The scientific narrative: evolution and human ancestry. Modern science provides a different but complementary framework. Fossil evidence: fossil discoveries across Africa, Asia, and Europe trace humanity's evolution from earlier hominins over millions of years. Key transitional species include Australopithecus afarensis, e.g., Lucy, about 3.2 million years old. Homo habilis, tool-making human ancestor. Homo erectus, migrated from Africa about 1.8 million years ago. Homo neanderthalensis and Homo sapiens coexisted and interbred. Fossils show gradual development in cranial capacity, tool use, and social behavior, evidence of biological evolution, not instant creation. DNA and genetic evidence: genetic studies reveal all modern humans share a common ancestry with African populations about 200,000 to 300,000 years ago, often referred to as the out of Africa model. The concept of mitochondrial Eve, the most recent common matrilineal ancestor, and Y-chromosomal Adam, the most recent common patrilineal ancestor, are scientific terms describing shared genetic lineage, not biblical individuals. Importantly, these two individuals were not the only humans alive at their time. They represent converging genetic lines, not the literal first couple. The clash and the bridge: the tension arises when literal interpretations of Adam and Eve conflict with scientific evidence for evolution. However, many theologians and philosophers propose non-literal or symbolic interpretations that harmonize faith with science. Literalism versus symbolism: literalists hold that Adam and Eve were historical individuals, directly created by God. Symbolists view them as archetypes representing humanity's emergence into self-awareness and moral responsibility. The theological bridge: modern theology, including Catholic, Orthodox, and Islamic scholarship, increasingly accepts evolution as the mechanism through which God brought about human life. Pope John Paul II, 1996, acknowledged evolution as more than a hypothesis. Islamic scholars such as Harun Yahya interpret creation within the framework of divine will but reject unguided randomness. Some propose the concept of theistic evolution, that evolution is real but guided by divine intention. Philosophical implications: the debate is not only scientific or religious, it's existential. If Adam and Eve are symbolic, the story still conveys truths about human morality, temptation, and the loss of innocence, elements untouched by fossils or DNA. If humans evolved naturally, moral awareness and consciousness still mark a spiritual threshold, perhaps the real moment of Adam and Eve. Some philosophers interpret the Genesis story as describing the awakening of self-conscious moral beings within evolving Homo sapiens, a spiritual evolution parallel to biological evolution. Integrating both perspectives instead of viewing the two as mutually exclusive, a synthesis may offer deeper insight. Science explains how humanity came to be. Religion explores why humanity exists and what its purpose is. Fossils trace the form of man. Scripture explores the soul of man. Evolution may describe the process. Creation stories describe the meaning. The continuing dialogue, the conversation between religion and science continues to evolve. Genetic research refines our understanding of ancestry. Philosophical theology revisits the symbolic meaning of creation. Interdisciplinary dialogue encourages seeing science and faith as complementary lenses rather than opposing worldviews. Finally, the story of Adam and Eve and the evidence of human evolution represent two profound attempts to answer the same question: where did we come from, and what does it mean to be human? Fossils and genes tell us we evolved from life over billions of years. Religious texts remind us we bear moral and spiritual responsibility beyond biology. When viewed together, they offer a complete picture. Science reveals our origins in the dust of the earth. Faith reminds us of the breath that gives that dust meaning.